to our Midweek Coaches Show. We're excited to keep bringing you the show. It's going to look a little bit different now that our fall sports are over. I'm going to be here telling you recaps of everything that's going on in all of our programs that are going right now. Then we'll take a short break, and during that break, we'll visit with Coach Hill and another coach of a program that we're going to highlight. So this week will be wrestling. Coach Hill will sit down with Coach Clarkson. We'll get a little in-depth look at wrestling as they head into their district tournament next week. And then each week, we're going to be highlighting a different sport that's in season. So this is our busy time of the year. We've got both basketball, girls and boys, soccer, wrestling, swim, tennis is gearing up, golf is gearing up. So track is about to start. We've got a lot of things going on, and we're going to take each week to highlight a different program and talk to a different coach for a little inside look at their program. So, as I said, lots of sports going on, lots of good things happening here in the Valley. We've got girls basketball, who is currently in a three-way tie for fourth. Lost a tough one to a very good Wagner program last night. Their top four teams make the playoffs, so fighting for that fourth spot, it's going to be really pivotal that they get some big wins coming up. And we'll talk about who they play when I come back. Boys basketball currently is 3-5. Last Friday, they suffered a tough loss to a good Seguin team, but then had a huge bounce back last night, defeating Wagner 60-49. Wagner is one of the highest ranked teams in our district. We were not successful against them the first round, so I'm really proud of the boys for having that tough loss against Seguin on Friday and bouncing back to beat Wagner last night. Huge shout out to DJ, who last night had 17 points, Gavin had 15, and Jake brought home 13 rebounds. So they're playing well. Look forward to continue watching them play. Swim is wrapping up their season, but getting into the heart of it. So they're moving into districts. And right now, a couple of the swimmers that Coach Hilliard and Coach Fritcher wanted to shout out, Riley Collins, Vanessa Weatherford, Colin Doyle, Abby Miller, all meeting PRs, setting records for themselves, and expecting to have a really strong showing going into next week. Girls soccer has started. They are still in preseason, starting district this Friday. So in preseason, they are 7-0. They've participated in 2 tournaments. They headed out to Leander, brought home the championship from that one, and then obviously hosted the Ranger Classic here, bringing home the championship in that one. They defeated Judson 4-0 last night. So 7-0, pretty impressive. They start district this Friday, hoping to keep that winning way going. And boys soccer has had a ton of success preseason. They've got a new coach, Coach Boss, doing a great job. Those guys are really responding well. They had their Ranger Classic, brought home the championship in that. So we'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up when we get back. But right now, going into the heart of their season is our wrestling team. So we're going to head over to Coach Hill and Coach Clarkson to find out a little bit more about them.
Thanks, Coach Miller, and congrats to all our players and coaches, their successes this past week that were just highlighted. And the middle segment of this weekly show, we will begin today, like we'll do every week, and kind of highlight and feature a particular sport that's ongoing, in which right now at Smithson Valley we've got a lot going on. And one of the things we have going on is wrestling. And we have, of course, a girls team and a boys team that are hip deep in their season, have had a lot of success up to now, and we're getting kind of to the meat of the season. So to talk about that, we've got our head wrestling coach, Tim Clarkson, with us today. And Coach Clarkson, first of all, this is year what for you here now?
Year 4.
Year 4, okay. We have seen tremendous growth in our program, not just in numbers of athletes, but quality and obviously some great results. And let's start with the girls' side. Up to now, just kind of walk us through the girls' season and how they've done.
Well, people that follow us know that last year we had 2 extremely successful individuals. We had a state champion, and we had another young lady that finished 4th place at state. The girls finished 5th place overall at the state tournament. So we basically have, with the exception of 1 or 2 role players from last year's team, we have an entirely new girls lineup. And we've gotten girls from volleyball, we've gotten girls from cheerleading, we've gotten girls from softball, some girls from the cross-country team. So we've been rebuilding, but they still have managed to get 2nd place in a couple of the larger local tournaments. So the future is definitely bright for those young ladies.
Good. Now, of course, on the guys' side, I know you had a number of individuals back, and that program continues to grow and flourish. How have they done so far this season?
The boys team, well, once football finished their very successful run and we got a couple of key cogs back in the machine when football season was over, they just continue to get better each and every week. And we have gone out throughout the state and we've tried to schedule the toughest tournaments that we could compete in. And over New Year's weekend, we went to the Allen, Texas Outlaw Tournament, which was only 24 teams, but half of the teams were from Oklahoma and Tennessee and Louisiana. They were from outside the state. And our boys team finished up near the top of the leaderboard in that. And then the following week, we went to the Sci-Fair Tournament, which is the largest high school varsity tournament in the nation with 80 teams in the Berry Center where we have state. And we finished, I believe, like 10th out of 80 teams in the boys division. Right. So the boys have had a remarkable run this far. And then last week, for the first time ever, we were invited to compete in the High School Coaches Association State Dual Tournament. And because there are no common opponents and it's a team event, we were seated 13th out of 16 teams. And the boys just showed up. They did what Smithson Valley kids do. We answered a lot of questions. You know, what even is a Smithson Valley? Where's that at? We've never heard of that. And I said, oh, well, you'll know. And anyways, the boys squared off and we defeated the number 5 team, Midlothian, ranked at the top of the state. Then we defeated Killeen Ellison, also another top team. Then we defeated the number 1 ranked team in the state, Amarillo Tascosa, which put us in the championship match against the returning dual tournament state champions, Lucas Lovejoy, and they are also the returning 5A state champions. And the match went back and forth. It was really exciting. We had some kids that haven't normally been successful just rise up and do some amazing things. And when it was all over, we were tied 36-36. And the way they settle it in wrestling is there's no overtime in a team duel, so it went to the 8th criteria. And when they announced, the announcer announced that Smithson Valley was the state champion. And then when we were all lined up shaking hands, he came out and said, I made a mistake. So that was kind of gut-wrenching, but it was a great character-building opportunity for our kids. And but super proud of them. And, you know, the majority of our top performers are going to be back next year. So I'm excited already for what the future holds.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's go back to the girls' side. Who's, you know, if we have some of our Ranger fans come to these upcoming tournaments, district and beyond, who are some girls to keep an eye on?
Well, we have 4 girls that have had an exceptional year. Last year they were backups in the lineup, and this year they've really stepped it up. We have a senior in the 107 weight class, Alexandria Green, who came to us from cross country. She's doing it really, really well, and she's a physical force on the mat. And then the next weight class up, 114, a junior, Svala Starcher. She's our team captain. She just gets better every single week. At 132, we have a sophomore, Emma Engelking. She's a dedicated competitor, and she continues to improve as well as the other girls. But our bell cow, as it were, not really sure it's good to use that with the girls team, but we all know what that means. The person that leads us over the hill into battle is a junior. Her name is Lucy Puiterak, and she's got over 40 wins so far this season. So we're excited to see where that takes her in the postseason.
Okay, well, good. And of course, on the guys' side, I know you got a large squad, and who are some kids that have stood out so far?
Well, for the first time in my tenure here, we've been able to fill all of the 14 weight slots, and that's made a huge difference for us. Probably the standouts thus far that are recognized throughout the state. 126, we have a junior team captain, Tristan Luna, who went 4-0 at the state duels this past weekend. At 138, we have a sophomore, Skylar Sanchez, who has competed in the medal rounds at the 2 large tournaments that we went to, so he's really coming on. At 150, senior Carson Dykey. He came up really big against one of our opponents last Friday. He was losing 13-0 in the 3rd period, and his time was expired, and he managed to get a reversal and pin his opponent, and that propelled us into the next round, so that was great. And then our 2 most accomplished wrestlers at 165, is Efren Arizmendez. He's a 2-time state qualifier. He's got over 40 wins this season, and he just recorded his 100th win for his career, and he's just a junior. And then lastly, one that you know very well, Nicholas Dudzikowski. He's one of our hammers at 175, and both Efren and Nicholas made it to the finals of the Texas Outlaw. And so, you know, it's a testament to what Smithson Valley kids can achieve. We're not always the most physically imposing kid when we're getting ready to wrestle on the mat, and people kind of take us lightly, but then when the whistle blows, they find out what our athletic department ethos is all about.
Well, that's good. And, you know, you mentioned Nicholas, but we've got a number of two-sport athletes, and I really feel like here at Smithson Valley, that's what makes us go. And unlike other schools where kids are either heavily encouraged or maybe even mandated to specialize, you know, we have a number of, you mentioned football, wrestling, but you know, we've got volleyball kids out there,
players,
we got
absolutely.
cheerleaders, softball, we got football, baseball, football, track, soccer, football, you know, track, and I mean, we got a lot of that going on, and it's encouraged here, and I think it's helped all of our program, and I think it helps the strength of the athletic department. And we're getting late in the year. Let's talk about what's to come. I know we got district right around the corner, and then obviously we feel pretty confident that we'll have individuals and teams that will advance beyond that. So give the Ranger fans some timelines here and some dates and places.
Well, this Saturday at Canyon High School, we finish our sub-varsity season with the JV district tournament. Next week on Friday and Saturday, we'll be at the Alamo Convocation Center at Alamo Stadium. SAISD will host our district tournament. There's 16 teams in our 5A district. That will be a Friday and Saturday event for both boys and girls. The top 4 placers in each weight division will advance to regionals the following week, and regionals will be at the Delco Center in Austin, hosted by AISD. Again, the top 4 will advance to the state tournament in each weight class, and then we will conclude the 3rd weekend in February back at the Berry Center, where we'll have the UIL 5A state tournament. And for the first time in our program history, we'll be on the other side of the arena, where we've never been before. Yeah. We've never been on the 5A side. We don't know what to expect. There's some quality opponents there, but we're excited.
Well, good. We're all excited, and congratulations to our wrestlers, and good luck as they progress into district and hopefully the postseason. So thank you, Coach Clarkson, for being on. And back to Coach Miller, and let's talk about the week ahead in Rangers athletics.
Thanks, Coach. A huge congratulations to Coach Clarkson and his entire wrestling team. Good luck to them as they start district next week. And then moving into everything else coming up for the next couple of weeks. Girls basketball is going to head to Veterans Memorial on Friday in a huge must-win game. We talked about how they're right there tied for that 4th place spot, so that we really want them to get that win on Friday. If you're looking to find them at home, they will be here in a huge game versus Canyon next Tuesday at 6:30. They'd love to see you out here. Boys basketball follows the opposite schedule. So if you're looking to find them at home, you'll see them here this Friday at Smithson Valley, 6:30 versus Veterans Memorial, or you can follow them at Canyon next Tuesday. Swim starts their district meet this Friday. They start competing at 11:15 at the Northeast ISD Aquatic Center. We're excited to see how they fare in district competition. We'll be back next week with updates on that. So good luck to them. And then both boys and girls soccer start their district season this Friday. Girls you can find here at Smithson Valley, 7:15 versus Tivy. If you're looking to find the boys, you got to head out to Kerrville on Friday as they start their district season at 7:15. Good luck to everyone. Baseball and softball has started. They're still in the early stages of their season, so we're wishing healthy, successful, fun seasons to them. Track is getting going. Golf's got some really big meets coming up, so we'll see you guys next week for a midweek coaches show. Have a great week.